All right, welcome back, folks. It's been a while, but we are here with Quarantine Conversations, brought to you by the Virginia Wrestling Association. I'm Brian Hazard with VAWA, and today we are fortunate to have our newest coach in our college ranks in Virginia from Patrick Henry Community College. This is Justin Smith. Justin, welcome. How are things been going? It's been a pretty busy quarantine. COVID-19's been pretty crazy for you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's been a wild time, but wrestling makes strong people, so we got to adapt and keep on going.
No doubt. So I was reading a little bit just on the USA Wrestling site about Patrick Henry and, where some programs like Old Dominion and some of these other schools have used COVID and the quarantine as an excuse to drop the program. It sounds like Patrick Henry said, what a perfect time to get this thing rolling here. Tell me a little bit about that and how that came about and why you made the decision to move up.
Well, the decision was one of those things that the school was thinking about doing it for a number of years, and they did the interview process, and it was a really nice opportunity for me to take, but they were kind of hesitant on how to do this with COVID, and then they said, now there's a lot of momentum going across the country with starting wrestling programs. Emory and Henry just started their wrestling program. Roanoke College just hired Nate Yetzer, and he's automatically having success recruiting people. So the school saw that momentum and wanted to buy into it. Unfortunately, ODU dropped their program like a week or two before we made our announcement, which really hurt us because there is a transfer agreement between Patrick Henry and Old Dominion. So that would have been a nice pipeline. But moving forward, it's just one of those things that you got to keep on keeping on, and the sport really helps us out with the progression of all these programs stepping up. That gave us an opportunity to kind of see what they're doing, how they're adapting, and I'm playing catch up with recruiting right now. So it's a good opportunity for us. So you're trying to turn a negative into a positive.
Sure. That 81 corridor is really crushing it right now. We got Shenandoah up to the top and Emory Henry down to the south of 81. That's really a hotbed of, I know we have Virginia Tech D1, but really a hotbed of Division III and community college wrestling just going on right there. How are you going to use those type of local rivalries to get it cranking at Patrick Henry?
Well, you and I both know as former 6A wrestling coaches, the state has a lot of opportunities for young athletes, and it's growing because 10 years ago when I was in high school, we didn't have as many opportunities, and now schools are popping up left and right. So using those relationships that we've had over the years with coaches and just going to stuff like the NWCA's leadership conference for coaches, and that really helps us try to figure out what do we need to make this sport more competitive. And people like Bill Swink saying, hey, we need more dual meets, there's a rivalry there. But at the same time, perfect example is Joe Panaleo and I wrestled against each other in high school, and then we were teammates in college. And I can't imagine what the number is of how many people wrestled against each other in high school and then they became college teammates. And so that's one of those things that it's a sport. There's a rivalry, of course, but we all have the same pursuits in the sport, but it's about getting an education. So if we can use our platform or our tools or our skills to get to our educational goals, then that's what the sport's all about for me. So I'm trying to take it from that perspective because I didn't have, the crazy 4 times high school state champion accolades or nothing like that. But it's about pursuing your passions. So just trying to tap into that.
Yeah, and speaking of passions, you're passionate for that Roanoke area. Obviously, you if people didn't know, you went to high school at Franklin County. You went up the road 50-some miles to Liberty and wrestled Division I when they had a program. Now they have the great club program. We interviewed Coach Castro recently. Came back to your alma mater, and then went up the road to the community college there. What kind of lessons have you learned from your coaches you've had in that little small area to get you where you are today?
Oh, wow. Coach Castro was more of a father figure than he was a coach, and I mean, there's a tons of people that I wrestled with or went to school with that would say the same thing. Yeah, he has a great mind for the sport, but being able to mentor young people to be great men or great leaders in their community is I think one of his great attributes. But one of my mentors said it's not how much you know, but how much people know that you care about them, and then they'll care about how much you know. So just trying to be authentic, I guess is the best way to say it. But
Sure.
the sport has given me a lot of great relationships over the years. Bob Good, running for Senate, he's one. I would have never met him if it wasn't for Liberty. I remember he and I having a heated discussion about one of the Franklin County wrestlers going against the LCA wrestler. So those are some of the fun things about the sport, and it's just a great opportunity. I wish the sport could continue to grow and people could share our passion with it.
Yeah. Well, we're so excited that, that you're moving into your next phase, and you've done a great job at Franklin County. You've built leaders there in a small community where Ferrum's right up the road from you, and you've pushed some kids in different places, which is awesome. Do you think there'll be any change in your expectations for athletes moving from the high school coaching ranks to the college coaching ranks?
Well, first off, thank you. I mean, you giving me that compliment means a lot because you've done a lot in the sport yourself. And I do have some different expectations, but the expectations are, one, be a student, be a good person, and then the wrestling will take care of itself. If you have a goal, you're going to really try to have a series of process goals for your outcome goal. And that's one of the things I learned from my assistant coach in college, Alan Hackman, who's ODU guy,
Yep.
great
Jefferson
guy.
Forest, awesome guy.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give him a shout out. He super ducked me a couple times, but whatever. He's a good guy. But no, that's one of the things is just making sure that we're looking for the right fit. And that's the beauty of college wrestling, is that there's so many different areas that for somebody to channel their education through. You don't have to have just a high school diploma. It's just not that common goal. And the beauty of a 2-year school is you can go and wrestle, and it's a continuation of high school. So you manage your time, you go to class, and then you have 3 or 4 hours to kill, and then you can go to wrestling practice. Or you could set your class schedule up to where you're in classes right up until wrestling practice. So that's a good thing. But you can also go to school in pursuit of an associate's or just a 1-year program. So if you have that passion and you want to transfer to a 4-year school like Roanoke College or Ferrum or Averett or, UVA or Virginia Tech, you can do that. So there's a whole lot of opportunity at Patrick Henry, and just hoping that people buy into what's there. And I get to share that with them. So that's pretty exciting for me. Now, as far as like the differences, I said it before earlier today, when you're coaching high school, you have to teach that one person who knows nothing about the sport and the person who thinks they're going to be a state champion, but it's not quite there in the work ethic. But, there's different levels to it, and you try to get everybody on the same playing field is different. But when you get to college, everybody's good.
That's awesome. Well, I had interviewed Coach Stiltner a couple weeks ago. He's at Southwestern Virginia Community College, and he talked about trade school and some of the other things that they do there. In my opinion, like you said, we should all be putting together these 2-year schools, Northern Virginia Community College, Lord Fairfax, and all over Virginia we have great community college. What a great opportunity to have kids compete for 2 years, and especially kids who might not be mature enough to leave home.
Yes.
They want to be at a place and they can really take it to that next level. So with that being said, you talked about it a little bit. What kind of kid are you looking to recruit? And, are you looking to stay real local to that area near Patrick Henry?
I'm not looking to stay local. I've got some recruits from Virginia Beach. Shout out to Coach Motley for making sure that I get some good talent. But like you said, there's a lot of opportunity in the state, and some other schools or community colleges aren't recognizing that, but we have that for them. And so there's a lot of resources available for them. If they're willing to make that commitment, we're willing to help them out. So I'm looking to go across state lines. I've got some connections in North Carolina. I'm trying to recruit as well. Um, Obviously, Franklin County is where I've got some kids that want to come wrestle for me again, which I'm thrilled for that opportunity. In the Roanoke area, I've got some connections there, and so I'm excited to see them transition and wrestle for me, instead of just wrestling against them in a hallway or something of a tournament. We actually get to be on the same team, so that's going to be some fun, exciting times. But anybody and everybody's welcome. It's just who wants to put in the work.
Cool. And I see Coach Neininger is
Yes,
going to
sir.
be your assistant
Yes.
from Cave Spring.
Yes.
He obviously, Roanoke area wrestling, he was big in the club scene there. So you can get your hooks into a couple of those kids, I'm sure, as well, too.
Yes, and Tim's been an awesome coach, a good friend of mine for a number of years, and so I really enjoyed being his assistant coach. And when Patrick Henry reached out to me, it was one of those things. Well, I got to call Tim and see if we can do this together. And I took the job not to boast a resume or anything like that, but to make sure that some of the student athletes that I see from other teams, they have what it takes to go to that next level. But you can use a 2-year college program like Patrick Henry to really skyrocket their success or get them ready to where they need to go. That way, when they go to Blake Rulo or Ryan Riggs or whoever, they're ready to compete, and they're not just there for the team T-shirt and a couple of hashtags. I mean, they're ready to go scrap. So yes. So I want to treat it like a redshirt program for these student athletes that have a little bit of a chip on the shoulder after the region or the state tournament. So
amazing. Well, I saw that you had taken the job, and I was at first a little sad that you weren't going to be at Franklin County anymore. But then thinking about it, man, what just so much flattery for you to go from a high school to a college and pull those kids who really need it. And you're a great leader.
Thank you.
So I asked this question of all my interviewers. If we as a community, whether it be youth coaches, high school coaches, parents, just stakeholders in the wrestling game, what are some things that we can be doing as maybe people on the periphery to benefit our college programs and to benefit you as a coach, especially starting a new program?
Word of mouth is awesome. I mean, so the more that we can not hype it up, but be authentic in our words, and just say, hey, there's an awesome opportunity here. What does your son or daughter do? Oh, you guys are very frustrated with your travel baseball team, your softball team, or soccer team, or whatever. Wrestling's pretty inexpensive. Just get your wrestling shoes and a good work ethic, and it'll take care of the rest. So I would say advertising the sport and the opportunities that it presents. I've been involved in the sport since 2000. So for 20 years, I've had relationships over the past 20 years in the sport. And I don't know of too many soccer teams that can say that.
Sure.
So I think that's a big plus for our sport and our community. It's a weird sport. Wrestlers are weird.
What?
We're a little different, but I think that's one of those things that is really great about our sport is we all have a similar passion, no matter what our political, socioeconomic demographics, none of that stuff matters. When you shake hands, it's you versus the other person. The best person's going to win. And at the end of it, you're shaking hands and you're moving on. And I think that's a life lesson. So the more that people that don't know the sport can understand that, I think that's going to help our sport grow tremendously.
And that's awesome. And I, as you were talking, I got thinking back to the camaraderie that I have with people who either beat me up or we competed against. I might have won, they might have won. Guys in my wedding, people from every political background, every race, every nationality, anybody like that. And that's why our sport is so great. And you pulled that into my brain, which I'm excited.
Awesome.
So being where you are there in Roanoke, we want to make you involved in VAWA, doing things. And we've talked a little bit about, and Jack Harcourt and some of the other, Bill Swink and some of the other leaders in VAWA have talked a lot about maybe doing a Virginia state tournament for our NAIA community college and our Division III programs, and maybe some of our D1 programs as well, to put a tournament together. Tell me about the campus at Patrick Henry, and is there a place that, we could do some training camps and we can do maybe some tournaments like that?
Yes. So we have a gymnasium that the school uses. I don't know if it would be big enough to host a tournament of that level, but it's definitely worth looking into. I'd love to do that. I want to host an event anyways. I've been reaching out to some ACC coaches and some D3 coaches and saying, hey, I have this beautiful campus. Come do a prospect clinic here.
Awesome.
We'd love to have you. And so I'm using that as a platform. We have a gym. We have a wrestling room set aside just for us. So we've got 2 wrestling mats on the way from Resolite. So Field of Dreams, we're building it. People are going to come. So I hope that happens. And as far as the competition in that tournament, that would be huge. I'd love to see that happen.
We're in. Well, we can't wait to get you involved and watch the great things you're going to do at Patrick Henry. And Coach, we're just really fortunate to keep you in state, to move you to the next level, and we see great things for you in the future.
Awesome. I'm glad to be a part of it, and there's a lot of good people in VAWA. So I'm really blessed to be in the know of those people and see what we can come up with. So it's going to be an exciting time, but that's part of it. So it's got its own challenges too. That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt, and especially thinking about what our new normal is going to be, and what's going to happen after this quarantine, and what's going to happen with the federations and the NCAA and the community college groups. And I hope, pray, and fingers are crossed, and whatever else I have to do, that we'll get back on the mats very soon.
Yeah, I think so. I hope we're on the mat soon, but there's talks that season might not start till January or whatever, and health and safety is more important than rushing to the wrestling mat. The sport's the sport. It's not going to change, but we might have to change how we go about applying the sport.
Yeah.
So having good leaders, open-minded, good communication is going to help us clear all those answers. And in the meantime, it's okay to take a rest. You don't have to train 11 months out of the year, 12 months out of the year. Some people, maybe this was a divine intervention to say, sit down and relax and catch your breath.
Yeah, no doubt. I think I've heard that more from friends and colleagues and folks that, just being at home, being with family, taking a breath, taking a look and being introspective about what's going on is not a bad thing. And, figuring out what's important in our lives. And I know wrestling is very important in my life, as in yours, but sometimes we look at it a little, over the top.
Yes. Well, that's easy to do. I mean, we're so passionate about it, and we try to share our passion with other people. And when I bring up the sport, I can see people's eyes start rolling. I'm like, well, I'm going to talk about it anyways, because that's what it is. But
you and me both.
I'm really excited about it because I've been in this area all my whole life. And so when I see business leaders or business owners, politicians, lawyers, people in my law enforcement community, anybody, they see me and one of their first questions is, hey, Justin, how's the wrestling team doing? And that's a pretty cool thing. And having my wrestlers say, hey, coach, what's going on? When I'm in uniform or out of uniform, that means something to me. So that lets me know that the sport's making a difference, not just a 9 to 5. There's a difference between spending and investing your time with somebody. And I think if we're investing our time in our student athletes, we're going to get a return.
Sure. And we totally respect you for your service to your community and how great it is that, you're in uniform in law enforcement. You're giving back to the community. People know you as a steward of your community, and we appreciate all the benefits that you give.
Hey, it's just my job. I'm lucky and blessed at the same time, but thank you.
Cool. Well, anything else for us, Justin?
No, awesome content. Love watching it, and excited to see what we can do to help the sport grow.
Right. Well, in anything you need, especially, starting a new program, you have a lot of great people around you to ask questions. If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to any of other board members with VAWA, and we'll be there in a heartbeat.
Awesome. Thank you, sir.
All right, Justin. Have a great night.
You too.